Deep in the canyon of Mission Valley, there lies the most potent source of strength in professional football. For here reside the San Diego Chargers, possessors of the power. The power made the 1980 San Diego Chargers the most productive team in NFL history. San Diego gained more yards than anyone else, while fielding a defensive unit that reduced opponents to rubble. The Chargers were football's most talented squad, sending more players to the Pro Bowl than any other team. San Diego also was the first club to average 400 yards a game in a dozen years. They were the only NFL team to repeat as a division champion. And they came within an eyelash of going to the Super Bowl. In a season of unparalleled achievement, the Chargers were pro football's mightiest men, men of strength, stamina, and power. The singing of the national anthem is one of the last bastions of football tradition to be found in San Diego. To gaze at the Chargers is to look at pro football's future. San Diego head coach Don Coryell was the chief proponent of high-tech football, when most teams still relied on the brawn of plodding fullbacks. For Coryell, any time is the right time to put the ball in flight. In San Diego, that means strap on the goggles, settle into the cockpit, and blast off into the cosmos. Athletes of extraordinary skill are vital to such an offense, and the Chargers have them in abundance. Like the old Hollywood studios, the Chargers have more stars than there are in the heavens. Pro Bowler Doug Wilkerson led a splendid supporting cast in the offensive line of Don Masick, Ed White, Dan Ardick, Billy Shields, and Russ Washington. More help came from the special teams and their fiery leader, Hank Bauer, a flamboyant personality who was a marked contrast to the quiet courage of kicker Rolf Bernerschke. Bernerschke battled back from crippling disease to finish as the second highest scorer in the NFL. Scoring points was the specialty of this talented team that could go 6 deep at the skilled positions, with receivers like John Floyd, Ron Smith, and tight end Greg McCrary. Often unnoticed in the glare of such an offense was a core of hard-hitting linebackers. Ray Preston and Bob Horn chewed up ball carriers while Woodrow Lowe, number 51, swiped passes, helping to win an overtime game in Miami and scoring against the Cowboys. most interceptions, however, were the province of Charger defensive backs. Pete Shaw, Mike Fuller, Willie Buchanan, Glenn Edwards, and Mike Williams made nearly every interception a feast for the eyes. San Diego's linebackers and secondary had many moments of glory, but even they took second billing to a front four that frustrated and bewildered offensive linemen such as Kansas City center Jack Rudney.
My fault, Bull. Damn it, my fault. I lean to Louis, and Johnson comes inside, and I can't get back on him. He splits our seam. Tight in here. Watch your knees, Wilbur. I've never had that kind of trouble covering the inside in my life. I don't understand it.
The answer was simple. Jones, Kelcher, Johnson, Dean, and company. The power line, who paced a defensive unit that led the NFL with 60 sacks. Fred Dean is the smallest and quickest lineman. He can blow past a blocker with amazing speed or use unbelievable strength to beat an opponent much larger than himself. Leroy Jones is the tallest of the group, with a reach to pull down sweeping runners and the grasp to cloak opposing quarterbacks in Charger blue. The largest of the linemen is their leader, Louis Kelcher, a man whose size and strength can blot out any hopes harbored by Charger foes. Kelcher and Dean both went to the Pro Bowl, along with Gary Johnson, the man they call Big Hand. Johnson can rush the passer in conventional fashion or with intricate tackle and stunts. But one thing is certain. No one can pursue like Big Hands. In 1980, his iron grip made him the league leader in quarterback sacks. The Chargers' front four, the most destructive pass rush in pro football. Charger power generates the most voltage in the passing game. In 1980, Air Coryell set team or league records in 15 categories. The man who directed the attack was quarterback Dan Fouts.
The thing about our offense that makes it pretty unique is that we're going to send 5 receivers into the pattern each time. And any one of those 5 is capable of being the receiver. And the thing about it is none of those 5 has the idea that they are the primary receiver.
Fouts was given carte blanche with the 3 most productive receivers ever to play on a single team. Who got the ball or how it got there didn't matter. Everyone shared in the Chargers' passing explosion. Charlie Joyner caught 71 passes for 1,000 yards by disappearing past the line of scrimmage, then reappearing downfield, surrounded by nothing but air. Kellen Winslow convinced everyone of his all-pro credentials. He led the NFL with 89 receptions, more catches than any tight end in history. He also became the first tight end to gain 1,000 yards in 13 years. Winslow did all this in only his second season of pro football. Completing this power package is home run receiver John Jefferson. Few athletes in San Diego history have been more admired by the fans or acclaimed by his peers. In 1980, Jefferson became the first man ever to gain 1,000 yards receiving in each of his first 3 seasons. He led the league in touchdown receptions and receiving yardage. He was named All-Pro, and he made catches that must be considered state-of-the-art. Jefferson not only made colorful catches, he made catches that counted. None was more memorable than the overtime game winner against the Oakland Raiders.
He sends Jefferson, and Joyner left. He is going for Jefferson. He's got it to the 1-yard line. Touchdown. He wasn't touched. Lester Hayes didn't touch him. Jefferson rolls in for the victory.
Jefferson and the San Diego receivers made headlines because of the sacrifices made by the Chargers' foot soldiers. In San Diego, if your name was Williams or Capoletti or Thomas, you blocked and blocked some more, and you ran only when the yardage was toughest. San Diego's backs made the plays and did all that was asked of them. But a superstar runner still was missing from the team portrait until week 5, when Chargers owner Gene Klein traded for a fellow named Harry Vance Muncie. Chuck Muncie came to the Chargers with a reputation as cloudy as his talent was brilliant. Perhaps even Muncie himself is not truly aware of his strength and power. Chuck Muncie was just what the doctor ordered. He was the final ingredient, the game breaker the Chargers needed to march to the playoffs. Muncie and the Chargers would qualify for postseason play if they could win their final game of the season on Monday Night Football. The situation was cut and dry. Win this game, and the Chargers would win the division. Lose, and they would be home for Christmas. And all they had to do was beat the defending world champion Pittsburgh Steelers.
Bounce backpedaling to throw. Sets, fires it down the far side. He's got Winslow at the 40, 45, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Cut from behind and dropped at the Pittsburgh 22.
A flawless Dan Fouts used the short passing game to perfection. And the San Diego Chargers, the team they said couldn't run, ran the ball right down Pittsburgh's throat.
Fouts sends Jefferson in motion. The give to Muncie, sweep left. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He scores!
Chargers 26, Steelers 17. For the second straight year, the Chargers were champions of the AFC West.
Hey, I get that playoff souvenir program right here. Chargers and Buffalo, playoff game today.
Let's go, Chargers! For it today, number 1! All right, all right, all right!
It was playoff time in San Diego, and the fans were in a festive mood. But the celebration ended when the opposing Buffalo Bills, not the favored Chargers, took control of the game. '79's bitter playoff loss to Houston came to mind. Would the Chargers falter again? What the Bills were about to discover was the fury of the power, which unleashed a swarming school of sharks on defense. The Chargers' defense did its job. The Bills were shut out in the second half. But with 2 minutes to play, the Chargers still trailed by a point. Now it was time not for Jefferson or Joyner, but reserve receiver Ron Smith, a man whose previous playoff heroics prompted teammates to nickname him Mr. January.
Bounce to throw. Fires the pass downfield. Caught by Smith. He's at the 20, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, San Diego.
Last year, the big thing for the club was winning its division. That was kind of the great thing. Well, we did that, and then we lost the first playoff game. This year, we won the division, and there wasn't nearly as much excitement as though that was the whole enchilada.
We kind of blew our chance last year, and I didn't think, this team this year was going to let it happen this year, and it worked out to our advantage, and, we're glad to be heading into the championship game.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from San Diego Jack Murphy Stadium. For the first time in their long, storied, and bitter football rivalry, the Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers meet in a postseason contest, and not just your ordinary postseason contest, but the American Football Conference Championship game and the right to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl in New Orleans.
The Chargers and Raiders began the contest by battling for control of the skies. In the first half, it was an air battle that Oakland was winning. The Chargers fell far behind. But at this darkest of moments, the power was restored as Dan Fouts rallied the Chargers.
They give DeMuncey on the sweep. He's at the 10. He's at the 5. He is in the end zone.
San Diego cut the lead to 28-24, and victory, once remote, now seemed very possible. Despite the Chargers' best efforts, it would be Oakland, not San Diego, that would go to Super Bowl 15. Even in this moment of heartache, the Chargers knew the power would return. In 1980, the Chargers came closer than ever before. And in 1981, they will be back with an even better, more devastating defense. The Chargers can expect a full season service from superback Chuck Munster. Jefferson, Joyner, Winslow, and record-setting quarterback Fouts all will be looking for new worlds to conquer. Yes, the power is here, and with the power comes the glory. The glory that will be theirs when Charger fans can call their team NFL champions.